Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's Tech Bites. I'm Kirsten, and today I'm joined with Julia, my colleague from Veeam, and Candida from Scality. Let's start with you, Julia. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Kirsten. It's a pleasure to be here on this Tech Bites again.
Yeah, welcome back. I'm happy to have you. And Candida, you're here again joining us for another Tech Bites session. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Kirsten. Thank you for the invitation again.
Yes, of course. Yeah, Candida joins us from Scality. And if you're unfamiliar with Scality, they are actually a Veeam Alliance program partner and part of the Veeam Ready program. Candida, can you tell us a little bit more about, what you do at Scality?
Definitely. I'm the field CTO here at Scality. We focus on cyber resiliency for our customers. Everything that has to be with storage. That's what we do. I'm based here in New York City.
Awesome. And speaking of locations, we want to know where you are watching from. I'm watching from Columbus. I'm tuning in from Columbus, Ohio. Candida's in New York City. And Julia, I'm not sure exactly where you are. Where are you
I'm actually
today?
in Brazil now, so tuning in from a very hot place here in Brazil.
Man, I would say that I am a little bit jealous because, I mean, as the weather is getting a little bit nicer here, it's
I
still
know.
not that nice and definitely not that sunny where I'm at. So
hmm
that's for sure. And
Yeah.
yeah, like I mentioned already, Scality actually was on a Tech Bites with us last April, and we talked a little bit more about the Veeam and Scality partnership and how this solution can help improve security posture and effective backup strategies. So if you haven't checked out that session yet, be sure to take a look. It was a very informative session. But that's not why we're here today. Today, we are here to talk more about how we can optimize Kubernetes workloads from VMs and containers. So I'll give it away to you guys today. So to get started.
Awesome. Thank you. Candida, you can move to the next slide. Today, we're going to talk about Kubernetes. It's a topic that I'm passionate about, and it's really becoming a standard in IT. So it's been used to simplify complexity in all environments, on premises, in the cloud, hybrid cloud as well, and to transform cloud infrastructure management. Now, before we start, everyone that is watching, I would love to know if you're already using containers or Kubernetes in your environment today, or if you're planning, it can be, a proof of concept, or you're using for development, testing, or even running in production. I'm curious to know where you are in your Kubernetes journey. You can move to the next one, Candida. So Kubernetes is basically a container orchestrator. It provisions and manages containerized applications in a cluster of nodes. And nodes are just a collection of worker machines, like VMs or physical machines that we are all used to. And the important thing about Kubernetes, it's declarative model. So what does this mean? You provide the state that you want your application to be in a YAML file. So you write that as if it was, a code file, and Kubernetes will make that happen for you. Let's say you need 5 instances. You don't need to start separately and manually those 5 instances on your own. Kubernetes will do that for you. And if anything happens, if one of the nodes fails, Kubernetes will automatically provision it again for you. So it will always reconcile the state because it keeps, that in memory. It knows what you want. And that's the beauty of Kubernetes, less manual work for you so you can focus on other things. Now you can move to the next one, Candida. The big problem about Kubernetes, we talked that, it's transforming a cloud infrastructure management, is that legacy backup solutions, they fail Kubernetes workloads because they weren't really built for the dynamic and cloud native nature of containers. Containers and Kubernetes are somewhat new. Kubernetes just turned actually new. It turned 10 years, but if you compare to other technologies, it's pretty new. And you can't expect that legacy backups will work the same with Kubernetes. So first, the lack of visibility into Kubernetes application make data protection fragmented and inefficient. Also, managing backups become complex and costly if you're using those legacy tools. And also, they struggle with that Kubernetes rapid growth because you scale applications very fast with Kubernetes, and these backup solutions that we're used to see, they can't keep up with that scale. Also, simply backing up volumes isn't enough because it doesn't fully capture the relationship between applications and data. Same way that we say snapshots are not enough, backing up volumes is not enough. And legacy solutions, they also leave Kubernetes environments vulnerable to threats like ransomware because they are designed to provide the security just and recovery capabilities just for those legacy applications, but we need something new. And that's why we're here to talk about Veeam Kasten. So you can move to the next one, Veeam Kasten. And also here we have some stats for you from the data protection trends report from last year. I encourage you to take a look. It has great information, but this report really highlights the need for a Kubernetes data protection strategy. So it shows that while 45% of companies back up the storage where the container data resides, only 26% protect the underlying database component. And also you can see just 25% use a third-party tool specifically designed for container backups. And finally, that last 3%, it's very alarming because it tells us that 3% of businesses, they don't back up their containers at all because they assume there's no stateful data. And there is a lot of misconceptions still in the cloud native space. And that's why we decided to do these Tech Bites today to show and tell you that even if you're running your applications on Kubernetes, you still need to back up your data. And there are a lot of gaps in Kubernetes data protection, and you need a modern backup solution. That's why Veeam brings you Veeam Kasten. So you can go to the next slide, Candida. It's our Kubernetes backup solution. And our goal is to deliver a robust cloud-native data protection for your Kubernetes environments. And we have three main pillars. So our first pillar is backup and restore. It ensures that businesses can protect all applications from threats like ransomware attacks, data loss, corruption, and disruption in the CI/CD toolchain. We've seen, there are attacks externally and also internally, and this functionality from Veeam Kasten can help you with both. And with that, organizations, they can maintain operational continuity and recover their critical workloads efficiently. Then the second pillar that we have is disaster recovery. It basically focuses on restoring applications in the event of failures, such as cluster loss, cloud region outages that can happen, and compliance-related incidents. So by enabling organizations with fast recovery, they can minimize downtime and meet all their regulatory requirements. And finally, we also provide and give you application mobility. So this enhances portability by allowing organizations to move their application seamlessly across cloud regions, between different clouds, Kubernetes distribution, and also storage vendors. So this flexibility, first, you're not locked in with just one vendor, and it gives you the flexibility between, for example, production and non-production environments, giving your business a lot of agility. Now, by addressing these three critical areas, Veeam Kasten empowers your organization to secure, recover, and scale your Kubernetes workloads with confidence. Candida, you can move to the next one. And we also integrate with a broad ecosystem to give your organization this flexibility. So the freedom of choice to protect all your workloads. So we are designed to eliminate the fragmentation and provide a seamless data protection across diverse environments. So you can see that we have data services. So we support a wide range of databases like Postgres, MongoDB, MySQL, Cassandra, Amazon RDS, Azure, GCP, all of those, ensuring that you have the flexibility for your workloads. We also support several distributions. So we work across Google GKE, Amazon EKS, Azure AKS, so Azure Kubernetes Services, Red Hat, OpenShift, and a lot others. So you can choose the one that fits best your infrastructure. We also work, obviously, with Kubernetes, the main container orchestrator. So you can have, reliable protection and management for your applications. And finally, we are compatible with several S3 compatible storage solutions, including Scality, which is our guest today. I have Candida here. And Candida, since we're talking about storage, let me ask you, why is Scality an ideal storage solution for managing backups in Kubernetes environments?
Hi, Julia. So, as you mentioned, data is crucial to every business today, but that comes with many challenges. Challenges like security, like fast access, and definitely managing the cost of a lot of this infrastructure. In a Kubernetes environment, these challenges are even greater because you need a reliable, scalable backup solution to protect your very critical applications, like some of the ones that you mentioned before. So that's where Scality comes in. We are the leader in cyber resilient storage for AI cloud, but also for backup. We offer software and appliances that seamlessly integrate into your data centers by providing a very powerful storage for Kubernetes backups and unstructured data as well. Adding all these enterprise-grade securities like great performance. As an example, you have to make sure that you back up fast, but most importantly, that you will be able to restore fast as well. And we do that in a very cost-efficient model. So we are completely built to meet the demands of that Kubernetes environments that you mentioned before, Julia.
Yeah. And why should companies choose Scality in specific to safeguard their Kubernetes backed up data against threats, like we said, ransomware or other cyber attacks that are happening nowadays?
Yeah, so when talking about data protection, ransomware protection starts with an immutable backup storage. That is the essential baseline of defense to prevent attacks from modifying or deleting those Kubernetes backups. So we completely understand that in a Kubernetes environment, this becomes even more critical because you need those containerized applications that you mentioned before demands that reliable and scalable protection. So immutability is definitely essential, and we believe that. But the situation here at Scality, we believe that immutability is essential, but it's not going to make you unbreakable. You need more than that in order to provide pure resiliency and security to those Kubernetes backups. So we go beyond that. We deliver what we call the core 5 that make us, that's why one of the reasons we are the leader in this market. We have this framework of 5 different layers of cyber resiliency for your Kubernetes backup. Everything starts at the API level. So from the moment that we integrate with Veeam Kasten, and the moment you, the backup administrator, run the job or do your export, run your policy, data is completely mutable. No bad actor will be able to modify or delete your data. With us, you don't have to move into a different tier, anything like that. From the moment that we integrate with Kasten, data is completely mutable, and we do that in the modern way to do so. The industry standard, by utilizing the object lock API, they have become that industry standard. So from the API level, from we integrate with Kasten, data is immutable. Then we move to the data level. So when Kasten send us those backups, that data is completely encrypted. So if a bad actor is trying to exfiltrate those backups, they won't be able to do that. We support data address encryption. We support data in-flight encryption. We have automated firewalls that will secure that data in transit. From the operations and management perspective, you can integrate it with your identity provider. You can utilize multi-factor authentication as well. So we locked it in provide that resiliency at a data level. In the third one, Julia, is one of the most important one that people don't really think about it, but this is what provides that efficiency, is at the storage level. We here at Scality, we protect data. The software itself is the one protecting the data. It is not the hardware. If some of you guys know about storage, we don't RAID those disks. The software is protecting the data utilizing a distributed erasure coding mechanism. So when Kasten sends us those backups, we protect data locally across the disk and across the servers if you have multiple servers. Why is that is important? If a bad actor comes and shuts down a server, it doesn't matter. You will still be able to back up. You will still be able to restore. If some of your disks, they have failures, it doesn't matter. You will still be able to back up. You will still be able to restore. And you will be able to do it fast. So provides you that resiliency at that level. The fourth one is the geographic level. You talk about the importance of DR, especially when your primary data center goes down and you have to make sure that your data is located somewhere else by providing that 3211 architecture for ransomware protection for your Kubernetes environment. So we can replicate data to any other location. We can replicate data to another data center, but we can also replicate data to any cloud providers, including the hyperscalers, in a one-to-one model and a one-to-many model to provide you that pure DR environment. And lastly, Julia, at the architecture level, we secure that operating system. So we don't allow any bad actor to be able to root access to that operating system to make changes. So if you're managing a Kubernetes backup, and make sure that you have a storage solution that includes these capabilities. So by having Kasten and by having a Scality, you can provide to your application that end-to-end cyber resiliency. So it's all about providing that security that you're looking for. It's all about providing that efficiency. Julia, you talk to a lot of customers there. We have, Scality is the name of our company. We do have customers that have high petabytes, but they're definitely that is smaller customer. They have tens of terabytes of Kubernetes backup. So we provide that efficiency. If you guys want to start with 10 of terabytes, go ahead. We support that. If you want to start with 100 terabytes, go ahead. If you want to scale to the petabyte, go ahead. We support from the small all the way to the high petabytes. And we do that in a very fraction of the price. And lastly, Artesca, it is a Kubernetes environment. It's cloud native. So it makes it super simple for you to manage. You do not need to be a Linux expert to manage this environment. You can just be a generalist and being able to manage it very quickly. So it's all about, to summarize, the value add between Veeam Kasten and Scality Artesca. But before we do that, we completely understand the customers. They want flexibility. So we provide you that flexibility as a software solution. Julia, you know that you have some customers that they're small. They want to be able to do their testing right away. So we support an OVA. If you go to scality.com and you go to the right side trial, download it, install it, and you will be able to test it right now. If you're a customer that just want a hardware appliance, you're into hardware, Candida gives me a hardware appliance, we have that option and it provides all the security that I mentioned. But if you are a customer that you want to use your own servers, your own Linux servers, you can also do that. You have HPE, Dell, Cisco, Supermicro, Lenovo, or any other, we also support that. So we provide that flexibility to lower the cost. And it's all about the value add of Veeam Kasten with the Scality Artesca, that unified solution that provides you that effortless backup, that performance for you to be able to, those Kubernetes applications and backup, being able to do it fast, but most importantly, restore fast. 8 terabytes to 10 terabytes an hour with Spindle, 2x if you use Splash. So we provide that performance for you to be up in hours, not days, not weeks, just hours. That simplicity of managing this environment, and most importantly, the resiliency of whatever happens within that solution, that you're going to be completely protected. And we currently have customers that are currently doing this. I'm giving you as an example, one of our joint customers that is in a public sector, in this case, is a National Archive, that they have some challenges with their old environment. They couldn't scale. It didn't provide the security that they needed, and it was getting too expensive. So by having Kasten and Scality, we were able to provide that security, we were able to provide that performance, that efficiency, and we were able to provide all that at a lower cost. The most importantly, that's what they want. They want it fast, they want the secure, and they want it cheap. That's the reality of every single one of our customers.
Yeah.
And and you know what? I have been talking a lot. So let's demonstrate this.
Cool. So yeah, in the meantime, we had some people tell us where they're watching from. So if we could just switch to the map real quick, and we can give a shout out to our viewers. So we have Ohio lit up in the map, New York, Texas, California, and Colorado. Not only that, we have people joining us from Europe today. We have Italy and Portugal. And then in South America, Brazil. Julia is there as well. If you guys run into each other, be sure to say hello.
Yes.
And then in Africa and the Middle East, we have South Africa joining us. Thank you guys all for tuning in today. We very much appreciate it. And just real quick too, before we hop into the demo, I know we had a question come in about if we can use a free trial version to start backing up VMware Tanzu. Julia, do you know that answer?
Yes, you can. But with the free trial, you can back up to 5 nodes only. And by the end of the presentation, we'll have a QR code and a link for the free trial. But the answer is yes.
Awesome. So are we ready for the demo?
Yes.
We are ready for the
Yay.
demo. As you guys, I was just trying to make sure that everything was working fine, and we have it in here. Hopefully you guys can see this. So this is Artesca. This is our software solution. Right now I'm having it running on our cloud environment. As you can see it in here, this is a demo, so I only have one data center. I have one server with X amount of volumes. You can start with 1 server, 3 servers, 6 servers. Completely depends on your needs. As you can see, the storage services, this is the capacity that I have for this demo. And this is my data services. So think of it as the endpoint. This is what, if you're using AWS, if you're so used to AWS or Microsoft Azure, that endpoint, so it's the same concept. This is what you're going to be using to integrate with Kasten. Something else that we have, I'm going to go into the data management. Remember that I mentioned the simplicity of our integration with Kasten. All you can do is we even have a start configuration for Veeam to make it super easy to integrate with any of your Veeam applications, including BBBR, including BBBO as well. So I'm going to go to this guy. I already created an account to make it easy. think of an account, same as AWS Identity Asset Management. We follow the same model: accounts, user groups, roles, and policies. This is the account that I'm going to be using to integrate with Veeam Kasten. I'm going to click in here, and this account is going to have all the resources needed, created by the Veeam configurator, to be able to integrate. So as you can see, it created user 10 test K10. It has the access key and secret key that you need. And I also have 2 policies in there to provide more security. I have a policy that handles data that is non-immutable. If I go to edit, you can see it in here. This is the action that the non-immutable can do with a specific resource that can do those one. And that executed. And this one is the one for the immutable bucket. As you can see, these are the actions needed as a mutable. So you won't be able to modify it or delete it. And this is the resource that can do it. So it has all the things needed. And lastly, test K account, I created 2 buckets. I create the bucket for non-immutable data for backups and the bucket for immutable. So when you run you execute your backups, or you execute your restores, or you run into the policy, your data is going to be stored in immutable or not immutable, depending on your policy. So let's go to you see, I knew it. Let me just log in here quickly. I just have some security set up. Just give me 1 second. And where are you? Here it is. And I'm gonna sign in to Kasten. So now I'm in Kasten. What I do, I go to my locations in here. You created a location with information that I provided before, the name, access key, and secret key, and so on. I created the immutable and the not immutable. Everything is here. Let me add it so you can see. Artesca immutable, S3 compatible. It has the access key and all the other resources. So I just wanted to show you this quickly. I have a application. So I have Postgres, I have Cassandra, I have a few applications that I'm managing. So I'm going to go to my policy quickly. I'm going to create a new policy. I'm going to add the demo 27, 2025 for the fun of it. I'm going to just, because if a test, I'm going to do it on demand. I'm going to create a profile immutable. I'm just going to make sure by name. Let me pick the application, Postgres, and I'm just going to create this policy quickly, as some of you guys know how to do this, and I'm going to run it. Remember the name? I just created this for the first time. So what it does all the Kasten magic to protect the data, do the snapshot locally, and then it sends that to Artesca. I'm going to go to the dashboard, and as you can see, it's running the policy right now. So when I go into this guy and I click immutable, it's going to create it in here, and you're going to see it created in a few seconds, one of these folders, and you're going to have all the buckets in there. While it's doing that, during our documentation, this is the documentation of Artesca. You have a validated design, you have Kasten in here. So it has all the performance information, but most importantly, how can you do the same that I just showed you, that integration with that? Julia, do you have any question while we're running this?
No, I just think it was a great demo, and it really shows how both interfaces are easy and very user-friendly. People, they don't need to be afraid. It's just clicking a button, pretty much, clicking buttons. But yeah, it's super easy. Everyone should try it out.
And as I mentioned, I'm going to show you one that I run while this is still running. I'm going to go to something like the immutable bucket that I have in here, so you have an idea of how it looks like. As you can see, all these are part of your backups, and everything as you see it in here, it means that it's immutable. And you can see the protection, and onto when it's immutable, you can set up legal holds if you have part of your policies. and other things in regard to to make it more secure, resilient, and immutable as well. Let's do this. And here.
Yeah, like we said, there was a question about the free trial. So here it is, and you can take a picture of this QR code, of all QR codes, all four of ones. And I always love reading more about data protection. We put some interesting resources here, the GigaOM data protection report, also from the object storage one. Artesca has a free trial as well, right, Candida?
Yes, Artesca has a free trial. What I show you right now, you can do it. I recommend that you go to the scality.com on artesca.com website, download it, and you will have access to every single thing and capabilities that I mentioned to you today.
Awesome.
Yes.
That was a great demo. I always love seeing the products in action, and there was a lot of information here that I think, especially if you're not familiar with Kubernetes, or maybe you're just getting started with Kubernetes containers, and you're like, I need to protect this data. This is going to be a great resource for anybody trying to protect those workloads. So thank you guys so much. I know we are running out of time. Before we go, I want to say that next Thursday, we're actually going to have the Veeam 100 show, so you don't want to miss that. It's going to be Veeam benchmarking done right. And we have Matthias Beller, Andre Stadler, and Madalena Cristal being there with you and showing you this great topic. So I want to say thank you again to Julia and Candida for joining us today. And I hope everybody has a good rest of their day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.